Johnny and I are headed up to the Tesla service center. They got the parts in for my car and they're going to install them today. Johnny is still fairly fascinated with the close all feature. I'll let you in on a little secret. Mom's still pretty fascinated too. Running along smooth here on autopilot this morning. It's like a dream riding this car on the interstate. Wow, we've got an X today and it's a P100D. I already kind of wish we had the performance model. All right, well, we get to drive Sporty Spice today, a white P100D Model X with what I call the flat black boy toy wheels. Johnny's checking out the interior, tan with wood grain, and in the back it's a 6-seater, no center console. This car only has 1,811 miles on it, so less than Ruby now actually, but anyway, we'll get to drive this for the day. So the Tesla service center is very near the airport, and Johnny's pretty fascinated today with all of the airplanes going overhead. Well, we're having a good time driving Sporty Spice so far. We decided instead of going to the mall that we would head back to Fuquay to pick up Joey, see Dawn, try to play some more Pokemon Go, check out the car in the driveway, that kind of thing. So we're headed back to Fuquay now.
So that white puffy cloud right there, that's from the Cloud Maker, aka Sharon Harris Nuclear Power Plant Cooling Tower. We nicknamed it because it just makes me feel a little bit better about living close to it.
We are just off Main Street, and Johnny spotted 3 Leafs, which we thought was really odd. We were over here fighting a Pokemon Moltres raid battle, and we pulled down in to take a look at the Leafs, and then there's a Tesla here, and oh my goodness, there's all these charging cables. I guess they're just laying on the ground. It's not a supercharger or anything, but you can see in there. Yep. Charging. So all these electric vehicles are here, not just because they like each other or because Fuquay all of a sudden has all these electric vehicles, but because they're down here charging. So Johnny and I drove our loaner car home so Don could check it out. Yep. I think he'd rather we drove the S home last week so he could have checked that one out, but
yeah, probably.
Like I said, boy toy wheels. What do you really call them?
Those are 22-inch wheels. I don't know, carbon something, you know, they're just
red calipers.
Yeah,
looks good with the black, but I don't like the black, but it looks good. White all the way around. Self-presenting doors are working. Didn't work for me the first time I walked up to it, but every time after that. Yeah. So anyway, let's go take her for a ride, Donnie. Yeah. I'm gonna let him drive her. This is Spicy Sport. Yeah, so like I said, this is a 6-seater without the console, and Johnny wanted to try sitting in the far back for a ride this time. I never have those seats available. I always have them down, so he thought it would be cool to test that out. Dawn is driving.
Right.
So this is Bob Barker, America's leading detention supplier. This is right on Main Street, Fuquay. I come past this building multiple times a day. And Don says he's told me before that there was a plug share here. But, you know, seeing is understanding and believing, and also we didn't know exactly how many there were. So we're here at Bob Barker at the plug share level 2 chargers that we discovered are basically within 5 miles of our house. And we have our loaner Model X for the day. Yep. And we're just checking out these SEMA Connect chargers that they have down here?
I don't believe these are really part of a network. I believe they just installed these and they're open. I don't think this requires anything.
And we do have the adapter.
J1772 to Tesla adapter. J1772 is the standard level 2 charger in the US. Generally it goes up to about maybe as much as 40 amps. We don't know. When we plug in, we'll find out how much current this will handle or supply to the car. The car and the EVSE, the electric vehicle support equipment, they will communicate and decide on what the maximum the EVSE can supply and the maximum that the car can handle and negotiate a charging rate. I don't know what that's going to be. We'll find out.
Be interested to see.
All right, so I'm snapping on the adapter and then I'm taking the cord.
Yeah, this is a really long cord on the ground here, so you don't have to back in like you do at the supercharger and watch how close you are. This thing will reach way far.
So I pushed, since this doesn't have the little button like the charger at home or supercharger, I simply pushed on the little door.
And it opened.
And it opened, and it's blue. It's just we're out in the sun, you can't see it. All right, so I plugged in, and it's flashing green, it's charging.
It's flashing green.
And if Johnny will get out of the way.
Please back up, sweetheart. It says starting to charge. We're currently at 30 amp.
Right, so it's a 30 amp. They've negotiated it to 30 amp, which is actually more than we get at home. We do 24 amp at home. However, this is 208, which is indicative of a three-phase supply, and we get 240 at home. So this is not quite. If it was 240, it would be a little bit more powerful at 30 amps, but because the voltage is less. In other words, this is like 6 kilowatt charge, where at home we're at 5.5. So they're very similar.
So we'll leave it plugged in for just a minute while we walk around, but we're not gonna stay here long. Yeah, 21 hours to fully charge. That's pretty funny.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Okay, so it's been plugged in for 1 minute and 47 seconds. It's pulling 6,013 watts. So as I said, this is a 6 kilowatt charger. So far it's added 0.18 kilowatt hours. So, you know, we're going to be here, we're going to walk around a little bit. The Tesla has a reasonable enough charge to get Marianne wherever she needs to go. So this is just a kind of little convenience charge here, which would be typical something you would do whenever you were maybe a little low on charge. And
or great if you work downtown during the day and you wanted to plug in while you were at work, because there are some businesses downtown that you could walk to from here.
Right. Well, this is one of those things where it's adding about what?
It was 6 miles per hour.
Oh, it's more than that.
Okay.
It's probably right at 20. It could be maybe as 25 miles per hour. And we'll go back and look. But what I'm saying is, though, if you were here an hour, you could pick up, let's say, 20 miles of charge. So if you were doing a little shopping or going
to Stick Boy Bakery,
doctor's office, something,
getting coffee.
Right. Exactly.
So there are a lot of stalls here reserved for EVs, but it looks like there's actually only 4 chargers. So there's a Volt that's charging. Here's a Leaf that would like to charge but isn't. A Leaf that's charged in. A Tesla Model X not in. A Leaf, and then the X loaner we have today. So the 4 charging ports that they do have are plugged in to vehicles right now. So this Leaf has completed charging. So he could be unplugged at some point when they're ready. And even though the S is next to the charger, The Leaf is actually the one that's charging.
Right, so we had the environment control on, and that's why Marianne was seeing only like 6 miles per hour charge. I turned the air conditioner off, and it's starting to climb up. It's up to like 10 miles per hour. It's going to have to average it out, but it'll continue to climb here on up. So this is one of the things that you have to remember if you're charging on. If you're charging at a level 2 type charger, the environment takes energy, and it's going to either come from the battery and or from the charger, and I guess in this case it actually comes from the charger. So what was left over after running the air conditioner is what was going into the car battery. Right.
We've actually turned off the, what's it called, Donnie? The cabin, not cabin overheat protection, but cabin preconditioning.
Yeah.
Because we found out if we plug in before our scheduled charging time, it'll still pull power to run the air conditioner. And so it was coming on sometimes when I wasn't really leaving, and we don't want to, because of time of use, we don't want to burn energy except for at our scheduled charging time. So we've turned that off. Besides, with the kids out for the summer, my schedule hasn't been very regular anyway. Well, I'm just going to say that it's really sweet to see this EV vehicle convention here at these level 2 chargers in Fuquay, no less. So this is as close as I've been to a Leaf that was charging, at least, and it has some interesting lights up here to indicate that the charging is going on. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
So we walked around and looked at the cars.
Okay, and we've been here just over 12 minutes. And we're still charging at 6 kilowatts, at a rate of 6 kilowatts, and we've used 1.22 kilowatt hours. We've added about 2 miles of range to the car. The actual charge rate has climbed up on the Tesla to, let me go look.
Can I close my door?
Sure.
You may.
So we're up to 12. Back up to 12 miles per hour average. Yeah, go for it.
I'm waiting for you to be out of the way.
Which is still not quite as fast as what we get overnight at home.
Right. But we could try something. We could unplug. Okay, so click stop charging for me.
Okay.
Up at the top. Stop charging. Okay. Okay. Kind of count to 10 here. All right. So open the charge door for me. And let's see what it does this time.
Starting it out without the air conditioning going.
Without the air conditioning. Well, that way the average is, we've just reset the average. And what we're trying to do is find out what the average, see, we're up to 4 miles per hour, 5 miles per hour, 6. Because at 20, 30 amps-ish, we ought to be, like I said, we ought to be easily over 15 to 20 or more. I mean, I could calculate it, but I don't know, so we'll see. I'm thinking it's the average that was, you know, we sit here with the air conditioner on for 2-3 minutes at 6 miles, and you got to average that in. See, it's already over what it was a while ago, 14. Because we, as I said, at home we get 240 at 24 amps, and we get that's 14 to 15 miles per hour. So this 30 amp at 208 is going to be, I would expect it to be slightly higher than that. I can sit here and do the math, but it should be slightly over 15. It should go up to like 16, maybe 18.
Yeah, well, we're not getting 208 right now. We're getting 206, so.
Right. So we're basically getting what we're getting at home.
Yep. All right, Don's going to demonstrate taking the charger back off.
So I'm going to hit stop charging.
Because there's no button here to press to tell the car we want to take the charger. It's gone back to that.
You don't have to hit stop charger. I could have pushed this button, it would have done it. Notice it's blue.
Yes.
But I can't pull it out. So what I have to do is push the button on the J1772, then pull that out. And now it's turned white. And now I can pull this out. So I'm taking it that you cannot pull
the whole thing out at one time.
Somebody can take the charger out at any time they want, but they're not going to take your plug.
Right.
I think so.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you'll come back to your car and this plug will just be sitting here.
Well, we've probably seen that on YouTube, but actually doing it yourself for the first time makes it more meaningful. Here's Joey's chance, second time today, to get his Multras, right? Johnny's gonna do this battle from the car. He's eating and recreating. Well, Joey didn't have any luck with the Multras again. Bummer. Johnny and I are on the way to my chiropractor's appointment, and then hopefully we can go pick Ruby back up afterward. So we've got a little bit of a hike back to North Raleigh. Tesla service is kind of in between the house and the chiropractor's office, so anyway, a little bit more fun driving around. I did enjoy going to the level 2 charger with Don. You know, watching a YouTube is one thing, but seeing it in person and doing it is another. So I felt, you know, the chances of my having to level 2 charge are small, but you never can tell. So I feel, you know, better prepared to handle that if I need to sometime. So it's estimated we'll arrive at my chiropractor's office with 21% charge. I heard Zach Reddick on his channel saying one of the things he would miss about not having the driver dash display on the Model 3 would be the navigational assistance that you see over there on the left. And I'm gonna have to say that I agree with him. I really like the you need to take your exit now big pop-ups over there that come up. First off, they're just you know, nice to look at, and they're also really helpful. So I think I agree with him on that one. I mean, I'm sure I can get used to looking in the center for it and it won't be a problem. But when you have driven an S or an X and had that navigational assistance, you kind of get used to it.
We think this is a Rolls Royce, but we're not quite sure. On the back of it, there's a dealer plate, so we're not that sure, but it's pretty neat.
So we arrived with 21% range left, just like it said. And the car is showing 59 miles. It just went to the yellow mode. It's like 15 miles back to Tesla service max. So like I said, we have no problem getting back to Tesla service. All right, so Ruby's ready to go. We're gonna head over to the service center and pick her up. We're gonna get over there at 4. We're gonna get home around 5. We're gonna change into our Taekwondo gear, and we're gonna head right back out. I swear, I just like to come in the house and be home for more than 15 minutes without having to take back off somewhere. But it's fun, it's all good. It's all good. So gas right now is $2.13 a gallon. I saw $2.15 at another Sheetz today also. So we got Ruby back. We made it home. All the repair work seems to be good. The service technician joked that my trunk opening sounded like Predator from the movie. It was so loud. It's nice and crisp and quiet. I'll make sure to get a video of that soon. But I think they have repaired or fixed, addressed everything we were concerned about, except for the walk away car not locking up, which she hasn't done since I was at service the last time. So I think, you know, there's a slight chance that as these software upgrades go in with fixes, that maybe that problem would go away, because we don't know if it's really a hardware or a software problem. But other than that, I think, you know, we're happy with everything has been addressed. I consider this our one. It's a new car. We took it in to get things fixed, addressed, you know, after bringing it home for the first time kind of service, and hopefully we're good to go now. Hey Michelle, I thought she should try to catch a multris too. How about you, Connor? Hi.
Can you get up there?
Hard to believe I went 80 miles since the last charge, and I didn't have my car for most of the day. Wow.